Welcome back to an episode of We Stand Right Next to, well, that was a turkey, but we are standing right next to Myrtilus. And Myrtilus is one who has a quest for us. And this might be the last mission in here. Let's see. Yeah, this was just a faction mission. Let's just ignore that for now. And then, of course, some expedition ones. So we have to, well, ask for other people who may be interested in a run. But that will probably be something for another episode. So let's just focus on Myrtilus for now. And also, there's a little bit of gold that arrived in our pockets, which is pretty nice. Always one of the good things. And I hear another comment. Where do we... Okay, I missed it. Damn it. That was a bit too far away, though. I really like these asteroids. Like, every time they come in, like, not only do they sound amazing, they also look pretty cool. So, what about that one? Dexterity. No, let's just cut that out there for a little bit. What about my... Yeah, I can still carry an awful lot. What's Myrtilus doing? He's trying to stand up and not, and something is weird. Your confusion is evident. These are dark times with our minds divided. Many Inverdant ascend to not support visiting Eden Grove to discover what has happened. They are root-bound and have settled into unhealthy ways. They would prevent you from leaving? What? If we returned, it would be like an early winter frost. There would be long discourses about the merits of staying secure at Eridanus, which would be as good as never leaving at all. We can't sit by and allow that. Then why haven't you left yet? That is the hard wood of the matter. While we are most appreciative to have our bow back, it is like a spiny brand stripped of its thorns. Remember leaving a quiver behind at Fornax. Please return our arrow to us. Oh, he's talking about himself in the plural form, which is very interesting. It's similar to the royal plural, but they are not talking about themselves in the royal plural. They're just talking about themselves because they are more than one being. Kind of, yeah, interconnected plant forms and whatever. So where's that stuff? I just have to follow it and go towards that ruin. But it was at that ruin before. I just can't quite remember what I did there. Maybe it was a faction mission. Maybe it was another mission. But this is definitely one of those thingies that you could do together with another mission. So you can overlap them a little bit. The thing is, you only know this once you already started all of that. And afterwards. So you can't really prepare for stuff like this. Which is a wee bit iffy for someone who likes efficiency. Ooh. To the side and 1, 2, 3 to the side and 1. Got it. Next. Oh, someone put a camp there for us to use. How nice of them. And another one. And another one. Okay. Whoa, that's a cool one. Ooh. Oh, there's a triple attack there. Interesting. It's like a slash, and then this kind of a very slow attack upward. Like this kind of charge, jump, attack thingy. That's just really cool. Like every character that has a certain rhythm to them is absolutely amazing. You just attack sideways around the enemy. They might be a bit... I may not like that. Wait a minute. Aren't I already at maximum level 20? So that means I should focus on the Void Gauntlet right now. Or am I... Or was I still at level 19 for that weapon? I have to check real quick. Because I think... Yeah, that one is maxed out. It also shows you that with a maxed out experience bar. It's not... It doesn't have a different color also, because it's still blue, similar to that one. It would be nice if that shows a different color, so you know that there's not more levels to be gained. It just stops because it's maxed out. That's just what happened. And the cost for respec is 50 Azov, which is doable. But the problem with respeccing at high levels is that you cannot simply test out things, right? So you can only test out things at the beginning. And yeah, the problem really is that you are not maxing out a weapon. You're maxing out a weapon category. That's something that is somewhat problematic. Because you can only test this at the in the early game, and you can't really get all the builds right. So what you have to do is basically go from, yeah, you need one safe build, right? Something that you can use pretty much all the time. And this is a build that you should use in order to clear corruption spaces, right? And once you did that, you get 20 or maybe even more A's of back. So this is how you could respec. It's just there's no trying this out, which is a bit iffy. Because, yeah, what would happen if there's a maximum player? What do we need to do? Find Myrtilus Quiver at Fornax and collect Thornpoint arrows from Angry Earth. Okay, so that's fairly easy to do. One of them involves just the enemies and the other one doesn't involve anything. Could I maybe... Wait, I am already in the landmarked area, so I can't place anything. But the thing that I actually wanted to say here is it would be nice to have a certain playground area or a test area or something like that, where you would be able to test your builds and so on. And in this case, it would be nice to have it in, yeah, in a settlement, basically, right? Just have a certain... Maybe next to the warboard or whatever. Just have a certain area, maybe with a war component thing, maybe with some training dummies around it also. And if you stand in there, you can respec, right? You can just reassign all the points. That would be pretty neat. You can test out your damage, test out the abilities. Maybe even ask other players who are also in the vicinity and are testing their builds out a little bit. Maybe even change the enemies that you can fight, right? So you have different training dummies, and you can adjust their kind a little bit. So you could either test fighting some ancients or lost or whatever, just to know how good a certain build is, maybe in accordance with a certain enemy type. That would be pretty neat. Or maybe even... if you don't want to be as specialized when it comes to that, just have a more general approach to that. What I mean by this is you have a dummy that is not considered to be any kind of enemy. So they are not those tree people, there are not creatures. It's just a training dummy without any damage benefits or additional resistances. It just gives you a raw comparable number, and then of course you put the damage type on top of that, right? You can kind of infer if the damage goes up or down. If you say like, okay, I fight a specific kind of enemy, I know the damage that I do, let's say nature damage, is a damage form that does more damage to this particular one. So, for example, corruption enemies are weaker compared to, or take more damage from nature than from other damage types. I think it was ice also that doesn't do as much damage, or void or whatever. But yeah, so you can do this in your head, so you don't need a specific training dummy for all of that. But a neutral training dummy would be pretty cool. That would help out. And then you can just respec, test out different builds, and that would be really, really nice. And only if you want to respec somewhere out in the open, yeah, then it would be okay, right? Or actually, it resets your spec if you leave the training ground, right? So in the training ground, you can respec whatever you want, but it still keeps your spec talents and so on from before. So once you leave, you have to do the actual Azov cost stuff, right? So it still keeps it. So there's a training and trying out phase in there. So you can at least try out your high level talents and so on. But it does not give you the absolute freedom of changing everything on the fly, right? Just so there's a certain rigidity in it. Because the thing about changing talents, right? Like, if you can have every talent that you need, then that's kind of weird. Like, I don't really think that should be in there. Like, a certain restriction is okay, as long as it does not hinder exploration, let's say, right? So you don't want to have people just bound by some arbitrary rule or whatever. You want the ruling there to have a certain balancing factor, right? So in this case, let's say you are in combat, in PvP, for example. Then it would be nice to know what your enemy is doing in terms of damage, so that you can adjust for that. But if you are constantly changing, then it is just a mess, right? This is why there has to be a certain balancing act there. And then if there's because this is an MMO type game, it is nice to have different roles that are filled by different people, not by the same person all the time, right? Because otherwise there's the whole interaction factor does not happen. I mean, some people just want to play this on their own. I mean, I can understand that. I do this for myself usually. And I heal myself, right? So this is the thing. I basically force myself to play a build that is able to do both. Deal damage and also heal. But this usually results in the same build all the time. And it's also very restricted. And if other people are going for tank builds or maybe even damage builds, then in this case they need someone else to fill in the corresponding other role. And because I'm playing like aggressive nature damage, so I basically picked the skills. I picked these here, right? So there's no room for a pure healer at the moment. Like, this stuff is dealing damage. Well, not this one though. But this one deals damage and this one deals damage on top of the fact that it heals. But a pure healing ability might be considered more useful in a group situation. Just to keep that one as an option. So, yeah, let's get out of there. So the pure roles, the pure healer and the pure tank and the pure damage dealer should always be they should always be more powerful than some kind of in-betweeny role. But the in-betweeny role itself should be decent enough. Decent enough, but not extremely good, right? So there's always some kind of favorability for the pure classes. And again, a drive towards playing together, right? That's the reason. You can, you don't have to. It is more efficient, that's why. And yeah, the whole training ground idea would be really cool. And on top of that, it would also give people an easier way of testing builds and making, let's say, build videos or content or stuff like that. That would help a lot. Da-da-da-dee, da-da-da-do. And we got more of these, and we got another boulder. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-beep-beep boulder. And we got another Druid Arch. Whoa, 95 gold, yes. Need to be more careful here, don't want to get hit. Come on, there. Right, and select. Let's just wait here a little bit, I need more heal. So. Wait a minute. What happens if I throw this down? Oh, look at that. I just used the fortify thingy and whatever the ball did, but I used it as a projectile downwards. See that? Like a miniature beacon. Pretty cool. Only thing that you have to do is you should aim it downwards so you get hit by your own effect. The other way would be to hit a target here and stand really close to it so the AoE again hits you. Anyway. Let's just continue with that thing. Oh, yeah, I need a level 100 so I can get at least some weird wood. That'll be neat. Not that I really need it, but it's just nice to do this on the side so you can sell it, get some more extra gold. Da, 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 da. And facilitate the trading a bit more. Because at one point there won't be as many quests available. Okay. Oh yeah, wait a minute. I actually wanted to play with the Void Gaunt a little bit. Need more XP. Wait. I knew it. There was another sound with bow coming from the side. Got it. Let's take this one out. Yeah, what would happen if I just attack them like that? Oh, come on. I also need to hit there. That's the iffy bit. Come on. Oh, the evade skills, the evade skills. They are on point again. So, let's defeat those two. Bam, 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 bada boom, bada bam, bada bing. The damage. It is out of this world. Actually, what I'm thinking about right now is how did the magical abilities get introduced into the game? Were they there before, or are they only working because we are on a turnip? Meaning that, does this game have a natural magical capabilities of humans? Or does all of that just get enabled by the item? But right now I use the Void Gauntlet or the life stuff or whatever, but where's it coming from? I just love that sound. Amazing. Wait, that's... okay. That bridge is pretty lucrative. I have some fire, some life stuff. What else we got? And it's also a very nice way of getting around the enemies. Actually didn't really think about this being an option. Just not walking on the bridge and just going sideways. Like when you look at this, you think like, oh, this valley is too far down. You won't be able to reach that, the other side. But no. No. You can just ignore the bloody bridge. Which is actually a very good option. Anyway, let's talk to Myrtilus to finish spined ammunition. Once again, you do not disappoint. These arrows shall do nicely. Now, we are adequately protected against any dangers that would endeavor to stop us along the road. If only all humans were this helpful. Perhaps you haven't met the right people. Perhaps. We are rather isolated in Eridanus. We are insular, perhaps too insular. When we return from our journey, we should discuss opening our borders more often. Different perspectives may do us some good. Oh, look at that. Oh, you can hold down the get rid of the UI button, but as long as you are in one of those menus, or in this talking menu, it reactivates it immediately. But this looks perfect. Look at that. Amazing. Whatever. Let's complete that mission. Actually, did I read his text? I don't think so. Whatever. If we may impose upon you once more. We are well armed for our journey, but we are still lacking one important element. It is unwise to head into the unknown without a secure source of sustenance. Now, what do you eat then? When times are good, a pleasant rain and warm sunlight is enough. But in times of high stress, and indeed when we sustain heavy damage, we require more than that the earth can provide to set things right and speed our healing. And can't you get that from the ground? We hear of corruption spreading like strangling ivy. We cannot count on the earth providing us with what we need. We can take no chances, not when the very soil could be contaminated. Please, bring us nutrient stalks. And those nutrient stalks are probably, hopefully, of course, they are somewhere over there. Trail rations. It doesn't say that it's an expedition, just that it is somewhat difficult to do. The episode is going on for a very, very long time now, so let's make a little cut here, because I have a slight suspicion that it will be more difficult the further I go towards that little ruin over there. So, until next time then, like and subscribe, of course. Ta-ta!